Hey everyone, welcome to my live stream. Gonna chat about contract management. Probably not gonna show anything today just because, not really, yeah, doesn't really seem uh, necessary versus some other things I just wanted to chat about. Um, what does contract management mean? So, state driven, high auditability, high availability, and I think purpose driven, of course, too. We've seen a lot that when you talk about distributed ledgers that don't really seem to have any purpose. So, purpose driven as well. Forward deployed. I think we're going to end up seeing a lot of forward deployed ledgers and contracts, and they're going to integrate with each other. And the way they do, um, it'll be pretty interesting because it's all about memory at the end of the day. So, I think, when you talk and when I say it's all about memory, I'm talking about uh, model MCP. MCP is all about memory. So if we think about ledgers, you know, those are contexts of data, states of data, and I think it's going to end up being where MCP and a lot of these distributed ledger types of algorithms, probably something's going to happen where those two merge. But more so, what I want to speak about is the contract management platform. So, having a state of what you're paying for, understanding that, especially in a decentralized system, is not obvious. But in today's age, having document driven contracts makes less sense than data-driven contracts, frankly. Having a source of data that you can just use as your contract system makes a lot more sense. So that's, kind of what I want to speak about. There's a lot of reasons for that. Um, and the primary them being you want to know where your money goes, but also some other things when you get into laws and voting and governance. It's important to have a highly auditable system, and you know there's a lot of low auditable systems. It's interesting, but as far as contract management goes, Zayuk's contract management system combines ticketing, invoices, um, work orders, that's what tickets are, and stakeholder awareness, as well as an e-signature platform. So there's really no reason, we help get rid of a lot of e-signature based needs and just kind of give properties the ability to really look at what they're doing and understand what they're doing and understand what they're paying for, more importantly. Um, so today I'm going to just go through some articles. You know, um, one of them is going to be Florida condo owners. So this is from the SFGate. After much anticipation, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis finally signed a sweeping bill, condo reform, uh, protecting condo owners. HB 913 amends regulation of condos and cooperatives, increasing transparency, accountability on condo associations, and providing needed financial relief for condo owners. Owners have been battling skyrocketing HOA fees. If you are in an HOA and you have a problem with transparency and accountability, Zayuk Safe is a great product. With our contract management system, with our invoicing system and our ticketing system, we are an asset ledger, especially for condos in Florida. If you're in a condo in Florida, I highly suggest you do two things, especially if this is a high rise. If you are in a high rise condo in Florida, contact Zayuk, www.zayuk.com. Go to the phone number, call the phone number, leave us an email, ask us for our asset ledger, our inspection, and the digital twin we provide. It is particularly useful for sky rises because our digital twin is able to go and capture your asset's hygiene across the entire building. And those are the buildings that stand the most risk. Um, Not to say there isn't risk held by a lot of them, but that risk also brings with it insurance fees. So if you are in a condo in Florida, reach out to Zayuk or me, and you know, you should really get our inspection and start using our asset ledger. So you know what your reserve stance is, where your asset hygiene is. You have a repository of accessible information of your asset hygiene because I mean, we all want property ownership to be easy, and for HOAs, if you're not involved in leadership, it can be fairly easy, and you kind of have to hope um, that it works out. But we are an asset ledger, so we really help with a lot of that engineering awareness, engineering maintenance, as far as the documentation of your vendors. So let's continue back to SF Gate. It was passed by both Florida House and Senate in April after residents and condo associations complained the laws passed this after the Surfside Tower collapse were driving up costs. Following the 2021 collapse of Champlain Tower South killed 98 people, condos over 30 years of age got hit with new safety laws requiring milestone inspections and beefing up reserve funds for repairs and maintenance. Those milestone inspections, we don't just inspect it; we create a 3D model, a property model, and it's a new age of AI technology called digital twin, and it is very powerful in the context of big structures, big property, which is once you buy into an HOA, you have bought into a business that is surrounded around that piece of property that the HOA owns. And for these communal real estate associations, I mean, I'm just trying to use a generic term for like a more kind of uh, general terminology for HOA. This is very important. Addresses the affordability and it makes your life a lot easier because we bring all this stuff together. We bring the contracts, invoices, assets, and reserve study, and we present it in a way that one makes sense, two, you're able to build on, three, it's going to help you. It's going to help you keep your asset hygiene high, and that's what you want. Like, it's going to help your HOA manager. It's going to help you as an HOA, your board. It's a really powerful tool. All right, so new legislation increases replacement cost of repairs required to be reserved and considered the SIRS Structural Integrity Reserve Study from $10,000 to $25,000 to prioritize more critical repairs. Alternate funding options that give associations flexibility as they work to meet reserve funding requirements. Advocating for condo boards. 913 allows for greater accountability for condo associations. Condo boards and unit owners can terminate contracts if a manager fails to follow requirements of the state's condo laws. It also prohibits any association manager whose license is revoked by the Department of Business and Professional Regulation from holding any role in management firm or being licensed for 10 years. Wow. Other changes that'll be enacted will give more oversight and transparency for condo owners to be more involved in the decision making of their associations. Full disclosure of potential conflicts of interest and mandates competitive bidding for contracts. So we have a request for proposal system that handles RFPs, distributing the RFPs, getting bids, documenting those bids against your RFPs, creating a contract, having an e-signature platform on that contract, and then creating a repository of information of work orders and various things done against that contract. So this is the future today. It's available today. We as a company need to improve at getting this out to people, but once people see the managers and the boards who have seen what we have provided have been stoked, and they've never seen anything like it, because there really isn't anything like it, because it combines a lot of new age frameworks of doing business, especially doing business through software. So the purpose of doing that is to lower your cost, to lower your cost, to increase your transparency, and to provide you a platform that will actually help you build wealth instead of just kind of hoping that this asset, works, and, maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's not. Do you know if this board is actually, doing you justice? It's a trustless property system, no trust. Um, so it will be, it is available, and so let's continue. Requires associations to provide more information and records online, making it easier for residents to access records and understand how their communities are managed and how money is spent. Additionally, it provides associations with the ability to deliver documents electronically, saving time and money. Laying the groundwork for increased participation in community meetings by allowing for increased video conference usage and electronic voting. Again, this is getting to a bigger point here. It's that there's been a set of regulations, especially in HOA, that have kind of worked against themselves. And that also is true within insurance in California here, where we have these regulations that have really, maybe at one point they made sense, but what they're doing now is making life difficult for people. And I don't want to say that's everyone, because some regulations are necessary, absolutely necessary. But there is some, when it comes to ways of doing business, that you really have to consider before, you have to take a couple steps back and then forward and then maybe back again, and determine if that's really the best way of handling it, or not. Financial records and condo associations will have more time to complete detailed financial records. Requires funding method and related details for the reserve study to be disclosed to unit owners and potential buyers. So, again, we provide you that platform, and we can, match this potential buyers feature, but we give you that platform where you understand your reserve study over years. It's integrated with your ticketing order. And again, that is through a system that actually does provide an advertisement available system. So where you're really paying for, unless you want the AI features, we're going to bring out pricing soon for that. We actually haven't, we retracted on our AI features. We found that they weren't really useful, and the AI wasn't actually, in certain contexts, AI makes a lot of sense, but in certain contexts, you have to determine what's the best way to go about it, and we're reanalyzing that. So instead, what we did was, one, we are bringing AI back in soon, and it'll be really interesting how it's done, because it'll be, in my it should be a lot better. But we are bringing another AI feature in very soon, and probably within the next month, as well as as well as um, give me a moment. I'm thinking. Oh, so non-AI features. So that means meetings and AI summaries that has a cost to it. Budgeting, where you get the budgets and are able to budget and see your transaction, that has a cost to it. I think a fair cost. And for HOA managers and for HOA residents, if you don't want to add any more cost to your burden of home ownership, we have you know, an advertisement based free version for HOAs. So if you're a homeowner, if you're a manager and you're looking to offload your SaaS costs across property management, invoice management, contract management, um, reserves. So we also how so if you are a manager and you want to not have an advertisement based uh, app, we also provide that. We found that boards, especially small boards, if you're a small board, you want if you are in an HOA of say 12 or less, I would highly suggest that you get on our app. It is so helpful to you when you don't have to add the cost. I mean, there's a lot of features you probably won't need, but when you have a system like this, where you're able to transact, I mean, we have to get into a podcast about small HOAs because I think it's really important for people to understand what the benefits and risks are on that. Because again, you're going into business with people that you get into an HOA with, and one, you want to know the status of that business. Two, you want to know who runs that business. Three, you want to know the state of the property that that business owns, so the quality of their assets. And you want to know your obligations to maintain ownership in that business. Lots of things. And so it's important to have a repository of this type of information. All right, that was pretty interesting. I saw a crazy one, a crazy story. Let me just see. Mold condo. I'm pretty sure this was in. I, let's see. Do. I saw a really crazy story, and all right, I can't find it right now. If I find it, then we'll come back to it. All right, let's just keep on going. See what's going on. Barred made for lack. HOA barred made for lack of U.S. driver license. Expert. They seem to be playing with fire. All right. Frustrated homeowner pursues legal action after ignorant HOA. They're quite some. Florida homeowner was livid when their homeowner association barred them from adding solar panels to their roof. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time HOA had feared with money-saving upgrades. Perpetual target because HOAs don't like how they look. That's in spite of the fact that solar panels are number one to lower your energy bill. Da 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 da. So upset. I can't believe they wrote an article about this. Sadly, okay, okay. That was a whole. Let's keep going. Steal my home. Joins the fight. Pivotal HOA reform in North Carolina. There's a lot of stuff on the HOA front. Holy moly. All right. Let's just keep going. My HOA is trying to steal my home. Charlotte homeowner joins the fight for pivotal HOA reform in North Carolina. Jeffrey and Levy Baldwin thought they were following the rules. Proud homeowners in Charlotte kept up with requirements until Jeffrey went to pay annual dues and was blindsided by thousands of dollars in fines. Parking a vehicle in their driveway was the reason. Routine payment turned into a drawn-out legal battle. Baldwin spent more than $10,000 in fees, faced foreclosure. Case has been a rallying cry for homeowners across the state, drawing attention bill to Senate Bill 378, a bipartisan reform effort that aims to rein in HOA power. The bill would cap excessive fees, ban HOAs from profiting off penalties, and introduce new safeguards. Let's read Senate Bill 378. Senate Bill 378. I can't read that. I can't read that. Okay, it's very long. I'll just read the headlines. How about that? All right, boom. Bill to be entitled An Act to Amend Laws Governing Owners Associations in Condos and Planned Communities, mandate pre-litigation mediation of disputes between owners associations and their members, and to require the Department of Justice to collect and report on complaints submitted to it involving such disputes. Part 1, amend laws governing owners associations in condos and planned communities. Section 1, powers of unit owners association. And then that goes on for across probably 3-5 sections, 3-5 paragraphs over, 1.5 pages. Section 2, procedures for fines and suspension of condo privileges and services, and that's about half a page. Section 3, lien for sums due the association enforcement. That's section 3A. That's about maybe 3 pages long. Section 3B, section 3B apparently doesn't become effective until December of this year. Section 4, association records and contracts. Section 5, powers of owners association. Section 6, procedures for fines and suspensions of planned community privileges. That one's 4 or 5 pages. Section 8, association records. Section 9, pre-litigation mediation of condo and homeowner association disputes. Section 10, general statutes is amended, collection and report. So this is a lot of stuff. Pushing for change. This is why it's so important to understand, and before you purchase real estate in an HOA, it really matters, especially if the structure is the same structure. There are single family home HOAs which tend to be more lenient, although we read one instance which I believe the solar panels might have that issue might have been a single family home HOA, but if you share walls, it's going to be a very important, it's already important if you're single family home and you don't share walls. If it's a gated community, very important. If you are in an association, you live under a set of rules which are mandatable by law. So Why homeowners are pushing for change at their best. Associations protect property values, enforce community standards. Valuable resource, bridging the gap from low responsibility renting to more involved. More common in 2024, 41% of homes listed in Realtor.com carried an HOA fee. Can overstep imposing surprise fees, enforcing inconsistent rules, operating with little transparency. Place liens on homes when dues go unpaid. Tyler v. Hennepin County rewrote the rules on how governments can seize home equity over unpaid tax bills, but HOAs have largely escaped that level of scrutiny. In many states, they can still foreclose with minimal oversight or homeowner protection. What Senate Bill 378 would do. 378 aims to create more balance between homeowners and HOAs, adding guardrails around fines, closures. Cap fines require advance notice and informal hearing before fines can be imposed. Ban HOAs from profiting off of fines. Helping curb what critics call incentivized enforcement. Prohibits foreclosure based solely on unpaid fines and mandates mediation. So those don't seem like great rules, but teach their own. Why it's hard to reform HOAs. Reforming HOA laws is easier said than done. Real estate lobby, fourth largest in the nation. HOA lobbies make a meaningful chunk of that. Successfully blocked or weak reformed. For example, House Bill 542, which claimed to curb foreclosure powers, died in committee. Another complicated challenge is that no two HOAs are alike, with more than 14,000 in North Carolina alone. There's a lot. There's a lot. That's why there's so many news articles about them like every week. What and why the business is surrounded by that. Zayuk. What this means for homeowners in North Carolina and elsewhere would rank among the strongest consumer protection laws for HOA governed communities in the country. Wouldn't eliminate HOAs, but would protect owners. Read your bylaws, learn state laws. It's really important, guys. I mean, because you're investing so much money into that piece of real estate generally. Is our board following the Open Meeting Act? All right, this looks like a Q&A. I'm not going to read that. Flagpole in Florida. Let's get. I've got two more here. I might. Oh wow. Open PR. All right. Let's go here. Florida HOA sues disabled veteran. Heated dispute over flagpole in Florida. Countryside Villas PUD 3 lawsuit against unnamed veteran. Required approval before erecting permanent structure. Community support for the veteran has surged. HOA maintains that its actions are grounded in procedural compliance. Enforcing the policy. Veteran accrued $1,000 in fine. And then the HOA initiated a lawsuit. Wow, that really spiraled out of control. Concerned neighbors and caregiver have come forward to condemn HOA's tactics. The resident was given multiple opportunities to remedy the situation. Pre-trial hearing set in September. Wow. Here's an article saying is booming rapidly. The HOA software market describes the product as prognosis and status. The marketization process is being accelerated by this market segment study, blah, blah, blah. All right, I can't read all of this. Market studies are tough. I mean, it's nice to see that it says that the market in HOA is going to grow rapidly. I think we're going to destroy in a good way for our customers. We're going to really, really gain a lot of traction in the next, 7 years. Long proven controversial. All right, so here, uh, one homeowner in disbelief after HOA neglects major issue. Do 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 do. The wall inside our unit is now soft. We leave finger indents when we press on it. The rain persists. Mold is almost certainly growing. There's nowhere else in the unit to move the bed. Property manager initially offered some hope. Both left radio silence. Ultimately, the homeowner reported to have moved out of their condo entirely. Poorly governed HOAs have interfered with homeowners' choices, often barring them from making economic and eco-conscious home decisions. It's even more concerning in situations like these ones. Basic utilities. Yeah. It really matters. So, you live in an HOA, you kind of want it to not matter, but it does matter. And I'm probably going to leave you guys at that. This was a good live stream. Contract system, very good. Uh, it's really exciting, actually. I'm super stoked on it. I'm super happy to continue doing this for a long time. So, if you need help, if you're interested in a contract management system, please